Well, hello, all my pretty pretties. And happy holidays to you and yours. And yippee-ki-yay, Musey lovers. Today, I have the honor of doing an exclusive, well, kind of an exclusive. It was offered directly to me from a new friend who is a great horror writer and also a horror creator in general. You can find her on Reddit as BunnyB03, and she offered me this story, and it's an exclusive even though it's posted because I get to change it around a little, namely the title. So in a couple seconds I'll tell you the name of the title, but the information down below will be different, okay? A giant Santa cost my husband his life. I had just about finished the genitals on the gingerbread man when my husband's voice boomed through the kitchen, making me slip and leaving one particular cookie way more endowed than he had any right to be. What? Y'all don't make yours anatomical? It's a naughty little Christmas tradition we started since we have no children. Don't act like you don't do it or know someone who does. Anyway, Mike was beyond mad at whatever the hell he was going on about in the other room. I stifled a laugh and gave myself permission for a quick eye roll before entering the living room. The effing Browns. Do you see this, Helen? He asked, frantically gesturing to our front window. No response entered my mind or left my lips, as I knew I wouldn't need one. This is a tiny, boxed-in cul-de-sac. There isn't room for half of the holiday shit he puts up. And this new one? He pauses to let out a scoff. This takes the cake. Across the street sat Mary and George Brown. They were the sweetest older couple. Never hurt or bothered anybody. But for some reason, they represented every insecurity my husband had about himself. He was never too rude or hateful to their face, but only because I bore the brunt of his verbal diarrhea behind their backs. An inflatable Santa Claus consumed most of the entrance to their front yard, like 10 pounds of leaves crammed into an 8-pound trash bag. They even parked their car on the street to make room for it, Mike prattled on. The tinny chime of our doorbell interrupted his tirade. My gratitude for a temporary escape sped my steps to the door. Mrs. Brown's rosy face greeted me from our front porch. Hello, Mrs. Brown. Would you like a cookie? I have some freshly made in the kitchen. My manners completely made me forget the fact that they were all naughty gingerbread cookies, tits and all. I was all too relieved when she declined. Proverbial sparkles danced in the corners of her eyes as she smiled up at me. George and I are going out of town to see our boys for the Christmas holiday, back home in West Virginia, where we're from. We leave tomorrow morning and we'll be back by Sunday evening, if the weather permits. Do you have any plans, dear? She asked. I could tell she was hopeful for a certain answer, but which one I wasn't sure yet. Nope, not really. We're just gonna buy some pre-made turkey from Publix and open gifts before bed on Christmas Eve. My family came down sick this holiday, so we're going to reconvene in January when everyone's feeling better. An audible sigh of relief escaped her thin lips. That's too bad about your folks, honey. But would it be any trouble for one of you to collect the mail and maybe shovel the walk the day before we're due back? I'll be happy to pay you for your troubles, Mary explained. Mike wasn't going to be happy, but when an adorable little old lady asks you to help her, what kind of person would I be to say no? We had to shovel ours anyway, and well, theirs was just across the way. Hell, I'll do it myself if he doesn't want to. Of course, Mrs. Brown. We'd be happy to. No payment necessary. You guys just have fun on your trip, okay? If you really want to pay me, bring me back some pepperoni rolls, yeah? I winked. She chuckled, agreed, and told us to have a Merry Christmas as she left the front porch. I watched her as her aging frame shuffled across our yard and into hers, stopping to brush some loose snow off the Santa Claus before going inside. At first, I thought Mike was just being an asshole, but the thing really is grotesquely huge. My husband had overheard the entire exchange and is now eyeing me furiously. Aren't there enough things that you ask me to do here at home? I cut him off at the pass. Yeah, I know. It's really no big deal, okay? How long are they going to be gone? Only 5 days. She's going to bring back some pep rolls. It's going to be fine. Mike's eyes took on a glint of mischief as he inhaled to speak. So, do you think they'll deflate Santa before the go? What the If they don't, can I do it? He interrupted. At this point, I just wanted it all to be over with. The last thing I wanted to incur was another one of his rants. The negativity takes layers off of one's life. I just know it does. So, I agreed. If they don't deflate it, you can let the air out of the damn thing. As long as you don't damage it, I don't care. But you're shoveling that walk. The next morning came and went. We waved the Browns off as they drove away. The Santa Claus loomed in their wake, swaying tauntingly at my husband. It was almost funny, really. I can remember giggling, despite the anger I felt boiling in his chest. Don't be upset. You get to deflate it, remember? Give it an hour and Mike was already across the lawn, heading into their yard. It was really amazing how long it took those things to fully deflate. We watched it from our front window. It was sad, like watching the wicked warlock of the North Pole. It just melted into itself until it was nothing but a nylon puddle in their front yard. I spent the rest of the day researching the internet. That's what it's there for, right? Seriously, though, I had no idea how to reinflate that thing by the time they got home. I wasn't sure if it needed a pump or if there was a button you pushed. Mike was completely unsympathetic to my concern. We'll just tell them It was a really windy day here one day, so I deflated it to prevent it from being damaged. Problem solved. It's better than my initial plan of stabbing a hole in it with a shovel and saying it was an accident. Unbelievable. The welcoming smell of coffee didn't wake me the next day, nor the sun shining through the windows. It was the sound of my husband yelling in the kitchen. "What the hell is this?" He was gesturing frantically once again toward our front window. I can't believe this. The Santa Claus stood proud and victorious on their front lawn, as if nothing ever changed. I couldn't believe my eyes. Maybe it's on a timer?" I muttered uselessly. My shoulder knocked back against the wall as I backed out of his way. His eyes were menacingly wide, and his features were set hard. It looked like they had never seen a day of joy. A clatter came from inside the kitchen as he rummaged through the dishwasher. "Mike, hey! What are you doing?" My voice came out high-pitched but even-toned. Getting angry hadn't ever done me any good when he got like that. He emerged with a kitchen knife, one of the sharpest we had. "That windstorm?" He breathed through huffs. "Maybe it blew a tree branch into their Santa, and I didn't notice until I was shoveling the walk." Those poor people. I really shouldn't joke about such things, but maybe I should increase my knowledge of divorce law for my New Year's resolution. A scream cut through the cold air, lingering to muffle through the window panes before reaching my ears. I began to run to the front door as fast as my feet would take me. On my way out, I glanced to the window. My neighbor's front yard was a smattering of crimson against white of freshly fallen snow. My husband lay gurgling on the street by their mailbox. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. As I looked up from the screen, the Santa was moving. A figure dressed in black erupted from the middle of the Santa suit, bleeding profusely from the stomach. He left trails of blood through the snow as he ran off through their backyard. The police came in no time at all, apprehending and calling an ambulance for the man who had now killed my husband. It turned out he had been casing their house for a couple of weeks. He knew they'd be going on vacation and depended on the cover of the inflatable to hide himself until nightfall. The robber survived his injuries and finally served out a 5-year sentence in a prison the next county over. 5 years. That's all he got for ruining my life. Christmas will never be the same to me. I've since remarried during that time, and we now have a 3-year-old daughter. A chill goes up my spine every time we see an inflatable Christmas decoration. And what's worse, our neighbor just put up the largest inflatable snowman I've ever seen across the street. And with that, we learn how a giant Santa ruined this poor lady's life. And on that note, yippee-ki-yay, Musey lovers, back to business. You have a great holiday. After such a horrible, horrible, tragic story. I myself am married, and yeah, my husband has a mind of his own, and if he wound up killed in such a way, yeah, wow. The holidays are tough as it is sometimes, so that would be, oh my gosh. Anyway, again, this is an exclusive in that it is a Reddit story, but my friend, the author, let me name it something different, just to add a little spice to it. So I'll add the link to the original story down below, or rather my editor will. And you guys all have a great day. We are so close to Christmas, and I wish you all the happiest of Christmas, my beautiful darlings, and a fabulous 2020. Thank you for stopping by, and stick around. All right. Talk to you later, friends. Bye now.